video series will help you understand your reading material, assessment, and health professionals education. Now I'll point out to you in the series what's important, what's not so important. So let's go right to it. Okay, we will continue with the CR and SR item formats, the definitions. This is in page 111. Right, and if the first one is the constructed response items. The constructed response items will focus this, and he defines it as non-cued, open-ended written responses. Okay, non-cued is in the questions you do not give any cues of what can be the possible questions, what the possible answers are. Okay, this is in comparison with the selected response, where you have a list of answers, possible answers, but in essays, in constructed response items, one of the features is it is non-cued, right? And it is also an open-ended. As you know, open-ended questions are where the one who is answering can answer in any kind of in any way, right? If you learn about counseling, this is also where you want to encourage the person to elaborate on his or her answer. You use open-ended questions, right? You say, can you tell me what you mean by that, and things like that. So this is the same for essays, for constructed response items, for CR items. They are open-ended. You do not say the answer will be yes or no, true or false, right? And so these are the features of the items. Or items means questions, right? Of the questions, and in the answers, the students have to write their answers. Okay, they have to give a written response. And one feature of the constructed response items, the CR items, the CR questions, is that in the scoring, okay, in the scoring, we use judges. Typically or predominantly, they are human beings, right? Usually content experts, the ones who wrote the questions, the one who teaches the course. They will be the one who will be rating or who will be scoring the performance of the students. Now we say predominantly because apparently nowadays people are starting to use computers to score even subjective written essay questions. Okay, and it talks about examples here, right? Short answer questions and long answer questions, right? Short answer, long answer, or known as the essay questions. I think they are quite obvious. Okay, short answer, maybe a few sentences, right? One or two, or maybe just one paragraph, things like that. Okay, one short paragraph, not a long paragraph. Whereas a long answer takes about pages, maybe maximum 5 pages. Okay, this is the long answer. Now the author then talks about the advantages of CR formats, constructed response formats, and he mentions that first and foremost, they are flexible, and the question format allows flexibility and creativity in creating the question. That's what he means. Okay, and because there are no possible answer lists, there are no possible answers given, the guessing tends to be reduced. So we do not worry about students guessing the answer from a possible list of answers. students have to come up with an answer, right? So the guessing factor is reduced. It is time efficient, meaning that I think what he means by time efficient is that creating tests for small groups of learners is easy using the CR formats. Yeah? Since less time is required to write a few short essay prompts, meaning few short essay questions, compared to creating a large set of SR, means selected response. So of course it takes less time to come up with a few short essay questions compared to writing a good set of objective questions, or like multiple true false or short essay or single best answer questions. So time efficient compared to the SR, a good one, right? You have to remember, okay? If you want to have a very haphazard selected response MCQ, then you can use less time. But creating a good selected response, a good multiple choice question, will take more time. All right, so that's what it means by time efficient. And the rater, the advantages of a CR question: the rater can score specific steps, or can score the logic behind the answer rather than just the answer. Okay, so it as you can see, it's more flexible, and the rater can have insight into the logic or the reasoning behind the answer. So not just coming up with the answer, rather that we can see the process of thinking, the flow of thinking, and things like that. Okay, and the essay also allows us to come up with rubrics, so that we can really put on paper what we want to be scored in the essay, in the CRI answer, not just like we say, not just coming up with the answer, but perhaps we want to see what was the thinking behind coming up with the answer, what was the logic, what was the argument, and a CR format allows this. Okay, of course they have limitations, and one limitation mentioned is that it does require time, it does take up time, although less time mentioned just now compared to selected response in coming up with the questions, but we need the time to create rubrics. We'll discuss a bit more on rubrics after this, as well as to train raters. Whenever we start to talk about having observers, having judges, human judges, to score answers, then we will start to talk about training. Training them, as you will see later, goes a long way into making the questions better in terms of reliability and validity. And one big issue in written essay formats, especially long essays, is sampling. Sampling means, of course, in 1 hour, for example, a unit of time, let's take 1 hour, how many essays can you ask compared to, let's say, multiple true false? Alright, so maybe essays you can ask, if it's a long essay, maybe 3, each 20 minutes, 3 questions. Whereas compared to multiple true false, you can ask a lot of questions in the multiple true false, right? So of course, sampling is related to reliability. So in 1 hour, if it is a 1 hour test, you would expect a multiple true false 1 hour test will have more reliability compared to a 1 hour essay test. Okay.